Live from the Export Beer Garden studio, this is the agenda for the 31st of March.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
This is something you're going to have to get used to, Finn, because I was doing this for about 2 years, and every day I'd be so confused as to what the fucking date was. And I know I've talked about this before on this podcast, but I used to ridicule Jason Hoyt for writing down. He used to write a note before every show, and I always used to wonder what it was. He'd check his book, and it would just be, "G'day, New Zealand, and welcome to Booja for March the 31st." And I used to take the piss out of him because the only note he ever wrote was the date.
Yeah.
But then I realised why, because it's actually really hard to remember.
No, it is hard to remember. Yeah, I mean, my world this morning is upside down. Upside down. I'm talking to you, who I've been used to talking to between the hours of 6 and 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be doing this with G Lane. G Lane's not here on his first day. Shock, horror, surprise, surprise. We've talked about this. We could talk about this at length. I mean, what did we expect? And now I feel like I haven't even really... I don't even know what's going on.
Well, get used to not knowing what's going on while you're working at the ACC, because no one knows what's going on at the ACC, least of all the listeners. Lane is currently in hospital. We talked to him on the Hauraki Breakfast Show this morning.
Oh, did you?
6 to 9 weekdays.
That's good that you've heard from him. Joe Jerry and I are just sitting at our desk this morning going, where on earth is our boss? So,
yeah. Well, shaky reception because he was inside an X-ray machine.
Okay.
He's getting both his lungs X-rayed to find out if he's got double pneumonia, which I believe is when there's pneumonia in both lungs, as opposed to walking pneumonia, which is when you've got pneumonia in your feet. Right. And that's the one that Elton John allegedly brought over when he came over, although I reckon he was patient 0 for COVID, yeah. The pandemic.
I'd agree with that. Let's start by talking some sport then.
Okay.
Last night, I understand the Warriors played. It was the first game that the Warriors played that kicked off at 8 o'clock that I got to watch in quite some time, hence the no breakfast hours thing. It was great. I barely made it through, to be honest.
Not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not.
And this happens at the start of every NRL season, because it's not until we get into daylight savings, and then Aussie also do, that we start getting the 4 o'clock Sunday Arvo game.
Yeah, so is that how that works? I mean,
it's usually how that works. So
getting my head around Aussie daylight savings.
I used to work in the mainstream sports media, and we'd get a lot of Australian guests on, and the amount of times I'd fuck up the time difference, because some of them do daylight savings, some of them don't. Then I think Canberra has its own time zone.
Right, so you texting Blocker Roach going, "Hey Blocker, you're on at 4 p.m. your time, that's our time."
And he goes, "The problem with the Warriors is too many Islanders, and they've always had problems with fitness." All right, Block, Jesus, mate. So, although he was not on the call. No, he was on the call last night, actually.
He was there,
He was, because he was blown up deluxe. Leka Halasima scored last night in a breakaway piece of individual brilliance. His first try in the NRL, 70 metres.
Great piece of work.
Broke like 4 tackles. It was fucking incredible. But he celebrated on his way into scoring his try, and Blocker was blown up deluxe about, "Oh, you could have improved your position there. The Warriors are going to be needing this kick if they're going to win this one." And, he's just too busy celebrating. Like, the kid's 19.
Yep.
He's just run 70 metres, beaten 3 professional rugby league players to the line by himself. He was so shocked when he broke that last tackle. He looked around expecting to get tackled, and then he was like, "There's fucking no one here."
Could you play that audio, Joe Jury, of the end of the match? I believe it might have some kind of, low effort, under the radar, Blocker Roach stuff going on there.
They'll take it to ground, and the Warriors have won 3 straight. What a 3-week stand it has been, both at home and on the road, and Benji Marshall can only rue the chance that the Tigers couldn't convert here tonight. They led at one stage 24 points to 18 before Halasima scored that incredible try down the sideline in the 70th minute. And then the penalty goal kicked by Luke Metcalf has proven to be the difference here at Campbelltown this evening. At full time, the Warriors, 26, have beaten the Tigers 24.
Oh, not quite what I thought. I thought there might have been... You know how whenever the Wise win a game and it wraps up, there just tends to be a tone of someone just shit themselves in the commentary booth?
Yeah, the difference here, though, is that it's the Tigers, and if the Aussies hate anyone almost as much as us, it's the Tigers. I fucking hate the Tigers.
It was just a linger over that game last night because no one really wanted to support it.
Yeah, but even worse than that, and my missus even noticed this yesterday, the game before that was such a blow-up. Manly thumped I can't remember who they thumped, but they did, the Eels. And for the last 20 minutes of the game, all they were doing was just shitting on the Eels for 20 minutes. It was so refreshing to hear them do that to some other team that's not the Warriors. That game last night, we won that when Terrell May's try was overturned, because at that point it was 24-18. If they had scored that, all of a sudden it was 28-18. They probably would have converted it 30-18. That is exactly when the Warriors dropped lip. But we didn't. They disallowed that try. The Warriors, now that's 3 weeks on the trot that they have played, made the game an absolute shit fight. One with a piece of individual brilliance off the end of it, which you could say is a fluke, but now we've done it so many times in a row. All that we're doing is just trying to give ourselves a chance to have that freak fucking 70-metre try, chip and chase from CHT the week before.
Yes.
And that's how we're going to win. Now, the best part about this is we've now won a couple of games arguably we shouldn't have. We go into round 5 with a bye. So coming out of that, we will be firmly entrenched in the top 4.
Yes.
Which is just a much better position than anyone could have predicted us to be in to start this season.
Well, my question to you, Manaia Stewart.
8 inches.
I was going into that game last night and I thought to myself, I feel like either one of these teams could win 13 plus because there's this kind of similar stink around each team that's, are these guys legitimate?
Yeah.
And it seems that, I mean, none of those questions got answered for us last night. It doesn't feel that way anyway. It feels like we're still kind of unsure about how good we are. But anyway, are we thinking that this result against the Tigers, 26 points to 24, is going to be one that makes our season a good one?
Yeah, I do. I think because winning games that you shouldn't early doors just puts you in so much of a better position on the table towards the end.
I was just talking to Marty about this, content director for Flavour, who operates out of a studio just next to us, and he was saying, like I was, for that last 12 minutes, we were just sitting there on the couch trying to find a way on how on earth we could possibly lose this game. And I know it's a broken record, and I know we always say that we do that as Warriors fans, but it really did feel that way. It didn't feel like a game that we were going to close out, because I think it was a year ago, pretty much to the round, where we strung a couple of games together like this that we lost, though. I think there might have been 3 or 4 games that we lost 2 to 3 points on, and that was just enough to ruin our season. So.
Yeah, exactly. So come the back end of the season, that's when this kind of stuff really helps out, because you need to jag a few of these different wins. Because last year, I sat down and I crunched the numbers on all of our close wins, and if we could have turned a couple of those, close losses rather, if we could have turned a couple of those into wins, we would have all of a sudden been in the top 8, and I think that's what we've done now. I don't want to get people too hyped up, because we might come. I mean, we come out of the bye this week, and then we play the Melbourne Storm, and then we play the Broncos, who are going all right, and then it's Magic Round. So, we could be sitting here in a month's time and be like, geez, that went to shit. But as it stands, fuck it, our year. Book the flights.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and chat some cricket. All right, Manaia, Saturday, the first ODI between the Black Caps and Pakistan underwent. Pakistan, fell short in the end while chasing 345, I believe it was. However, the big controversy of the night was the delay caused by Pakistan's slow over rate, which led to a clash in timing. I'm not sure if you heard this, but there was an atrocious cultural crime committed on the ACC. This resulted in us here at the ACC having to commentate both the end of the cricket and the start of the Crusaders versus Moana Pasifika game, which we all have some thoughts on and we'll come back to shortly. The next clip is a bit long, but it's worth listening to. It's G Lane who finds himself in a unique position of commentating a Pakistan wicket while observing a moment of silence for the late, great Grizz Wyllie. Play it, Joe.
Duffy into Muhammad Ali. Can he finish it off? Well, Muhammad Ali misses it by a mile through to the keeper. 74 required off 37 balls. Lee Baker, chances? 0. Been a great comeback from the Black Caps. They were staring down the barrel when Baba Azam was on 77 and Salman on 50. Mohammad Rizwan also did well, and it looked like they were comfortably going to get to the target.
Weekend, we lost the giants of Canterbury and New Zealand Rugby.
We're going to have to commentate through this one, unfortunately.
Grizz Wyllie was a formidable
Duffy
forward
into Muhammad Ali, goes forward.
10 games in the red and black.
I'm just going to pre-text this, Radio Hodaki and iHeart. We did a minute silence last night for Grizz on the commentary. Right. We've got the cricket. There's no minute of silence going on at the cricket, okay?
Have it known that I'm on the rugby side of the desk.
So you take a knee. You take a knee. That makes sense, Matt Ward, for you to take a weed. Take a wee for.
I'll take a knee.
You take
a knee on behalf of cricket.
Okay, you take a knee on behalf of cricket. You take a knee on behalf of rugby. and I'll call the cricket. But
Okay.
just to be clear, when there's no disrespect to Grizz Wyllie or the Wyllie family, okay?
Grizz Wyllie is definitely going to haunt you in your dreams.
Yeah, but the
Nigel.
thing is, there's just some complications around broadcasting 2 games, okay? That's all. Okay, so Pakistan requires 74 off 36 balls, 271 for 9. New Zealand just require the 1 wicket to wrap up game 1 of this one-day series at McLean Park.
Look, it's what Grizz Wyllie would have wanted. He
Yeah.
would have wanted the sport to continue. It does continue as...
Smith comes into Akif. Akif, he's got high and long. Has he got enough on it? It's a huge hit. And it's taken. The catch is taken for Grizz Wyllie. The Black Caps have won. Bowled out Pakistan for 271. And they take game 1. That's for you, Grizz. That's for
Oh,
you.
that's good.
Another
You're
pointless
still
world
getting
first.
haunted by Grizz Wyllie tonight in your dreams, I think. He's going to grizz all over you.
Well, what a comeback from the Black Caps there to take out that match.
Another pointless world first from the ACC.
Did I explain that well enough? So Matty Ward, a friend of ours, had made his way into studio because he was under the impression he was going to be commentating the rugby with G Lane.
Yeah, well, he was at that point. They were observing a minute silence. Lane mentioned, so at the moment, it's not on Sky, the commentary, it's on iHeartradio and on Radio Hodaki. Now, as you know, Mash, when there's a minute's silence on the radio and a blue light starts flashing in the studio and an emergency tape starts playing, which on Radio Hodaki, fun fact, is nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana. If you ever hear that song play, that's the emergency tape.
It's Queens of the Stone Age coming over talking about his drugs of the summer, yeah.
Yeah, it's because the station's been taken off air. So you couldn't have played out the minute silence anyway, but massive cultural faux pas from G Lane. Is it a coincidence that just a couple of days later he's not at work because he's got double AIDS in both his lungs? I don't know. Do your own research into that.
I think not. Let's start with the cricket, though, the analysis on the cricket, assuming that I've got any or that you've got any. The only kind of a performance of note, I suppose, was probably Mohamed Abbas.
Yep.
50 on debut.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, he's only like 21, so it's good to have a young fella come into the team because how many times have we seen a bloke toil away until his late 20s and then finally get a chance? I wouldn't be surprised if you never see him again. Like, this seems like the kind of shit the Black Caps do. They like bring a guy in, he was mean.
He
never
bowled a
plays
lot.
again.
He bowled a lot. I was surprised how much he bowled,
Yeah.
especially after getting a 50. I didn't realise that he was so handy. I think it was one of those situations as well where he's been gifted with a indoor cricketer's run-up, which makes him look like he's bowling about 110, but I think he might actually be up there with the Tim Southies of the world in terms of pace.
115.
I think he might be hitting 120.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's been a weird tour. I feel like people are cricketed out a little bit. I don't know how much.
Man, there's no room left, is there?
Nah, I don't know how much people give a shit about it. It's particularly after that T20 series where they were all just massive fizzes, and then now you're like, oh yeah, gonna fire up for this.
Well,
I
you'll
don't
be
know.
stoked to know that you're commentating, I believe,
Yeah.
on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. We've got coverage of the second ODI from 11 a.m. on Wednesday, live and free on iHeartradio. Thanks to Razine and Max Raff. Let's move on to the second part of that cultural faux pas that G Lane committed alongside Lee Baker and Matty Ward. Was probably headline of the weekend. The Moana Pasifika beating the Crusaders.
Time is up on the clock. Moana have won this match. Will they score again or will they just kick it into touch?
Oh, kick it out.
Pellegrini will thump it into the stand. A famous victory for Moana Pasifika. Chahoos all round from the reserves. They won this match 45 points to 29. Shit the bed.
Shit the bed, all right, G Lane. Wowee, that is the best game of Super Rugby I've seen in a very long time. Not just because I don't like the Crusaders, not just because I like Moana. It's a combination, it's a synergy, and shit, that was good to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, there you have it.
Yeah, look, I said this morning on the radio, and I'll say it again. What the Crusaders have done for Super Rugby in the last sort of year and a half has been completely selfless. To return the game, you know, people were saying, oh, it's unfair, it's not fun to watch because all they do is it's just the Crusaders win every year.
Yeah, preach
And
it.
so in the name of equality, they threw last season.
Yeah.
And then they threw a bone to Moana Pasifika last night, you know, on Saturday night to just be like, look, man, you guys have been working really hard. The best thing for the competition is not that we win again this week. You know, we're going to win the comp. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's let Moana Pasifika Jag one here, vault them into the top half of the table, and then, let's just see how that goes for the rest of the competition. I mean, they may have prevented the Crusaders. They may have prevented an Australian team from making the playoffs by gifting Moana Pasifika that win. The other thing I would say is, and I have received DMs, I've been screamed at in the street.
Good for you.
About, from many beautiful women, but also about the Crusaders lost to Moana Pasifika. Suck that, fuck you, fuck the Crusaders, blah, blah, blah.
That's a lot of beautiful women that
and I would
from
say,
Christchurch, I'd assume, with that kind of phrase, yeah.
But to those people, I would say, you didn't think Moana Pasifika were going to win that.
No, I'm still in a group chat that you're in, and it's the Hauraki Breakfast group chat. I do have to leave that at some point, but you wrote it down. You put a message in there on Saturday night and said, look, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about this Moana Pasifika win. I'm yet to see someone with Moana Pasifika on their betting slip.
I haven't seen it. I still, as of today, have not seen it.
No, that's a fair take.
And I won't see it. So I don't want to hear. And in fact, G Lane.
It's just G Lane.
G Lane came on the show this morning and was saying, "Oh, suck that, Manaia, fuck you, fuck Canterbury, blah 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 blah."
Yeah, sounds like.
And I was like, "Okay, how did your bet go this win? Oh, did it miss by one leg? And that one leg was the Crusaders because you fucking thought they were going to win too, G Lane?
Yeah, too
I hope
right.
you do have pneumonia.
I mean, the Crusaders have learned so much over the last decade. I mean,
it's about time they start teaching other people.
Well, this is the thing that they learned that you can't just win championship after championship after championship and expect people to be happy about that.
It's boring.
I think, was it 2022 when we came up here and we bet the Blues in the final?
I was at that game.
So was I.
And I was the only Crusaders fan in my stand. And when the Blues fans with 20 minutes to go got up and started leaving, and I'm sitting there blind drunk, we got.
There was so much of that. There was so much. I learned a lot about myself as a Crusaders fan that day.
Yeah.
I learned that it does feel good to earn one.
Yeah. Oh.
Because I put my neck on the line going to that game.
Yeah.
I knew that if I was to rock up there in a Crusaders shirt, that for the first time in quite some time, I was going into a final where maybe we wouldn't win it.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Crusaders, so of course we did. But anyway, should we move on from the Crusaders?
Nah, fuck it. I want to stick on the Crusaders because they are going to win. I said it. I mean, it couldn't have happened at a worse time, but I said it on the last game of Two Halves episode. I signed off by saying that the Crusaders are not only going to win this week, but they're going to win next week. They're going to win Super Rugby this year and every year henceforth. I stand by that. They lost this week. They won't lose again next week. I actually think they might have a bye. But they're going to win Super Rugby this year, and you can fucking write that down.
All right, Manaia, some news over the weekend. The Hyena is staying in New Zealand, re-signing with NZR until 2029, saying he wants to win a Super Rugby title with the Chiefs and a World Cup in 2027. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I read that as D-Max resigned.
So did I.
D-Max resigned.
They look very similar written down, those two words, don't they?
So he's 29. He's signed on to the end of 2029, which is another 4 years. He'll be 33, 34, I think.
Yes.
By the end of that is still plenty of time to go over there to Japan or France and make $vajillion doing that. I love this. I think you couldn't have him playing for another Super Rugby franchise, so they had to lock him up to this long-term deal. They haven't said whether there's a sabbatical or not. Let me give you the hot tip. There fucking is. There will always be a sabbatical because we cannot compete with the amount of money that's been doled out over there. So, he'll go over and play 6 weeks in the, what do they call it, the One Championship or whatever in Japan. This is great. This is good news for the Chiefs.
I mean, there's a lot of your first point is that there's a chance for a lot of players at his age to go overseas. So I think he's done the right thing. Sign here, and then when you get a bit older, go and play somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's obvious, and a lot of people are doing that, but it's a shame when you see people at his age signing the contract overseas now. Just sign that 4-year deal here, and then you can go elsewhere.
Well, generally, what happens when you see those guys signing a contract overseas, like Shooter Stevenson at the end of this year, it's because they've been told,
yes, that's right,
directly or indirectly, you're not part of the All Blacks plans. Going forward.
And it's a pretty good sign, isn't it, when someone signs to France or Japan or something like that, to know that they've had a backhander to say, mate, it's not happening for you.
We don't intend to pick you this year or any year going into the future. So obviously this is a vote of confidence from Razor. But I will say, is he our first choice, first five? I mean, if I was him, I know Razor tried to get back with his ex just this season just been.
Yeah.
He tried to get Richie Moe back when shit wasn't quite going sweet for them. So the writing's on the wall a little bit there because I think Richie Mo'unga's, has he got 2 more years in that one? I don't think he'll be back at the end of this year. I'd be looking at that I'll re-sign this, but only if you tell me you're not going to get Richie back here.
Yeah, well, the number 10 role is going to be an interesting role as
Yeah.
come All Black season. Okay, how across the Hong Kong Sevens are you, mate?
Oh, mate.
Well, the Black Ferns have won their third straight Hong Kong Sevens, if you were wondering.
Why Hong Kong? Why does Hong Kong just froth sevens?
They froth sevens.
Why? I've never understood.
Does anything else happen in Hong Kong? Careful.
Civil unrest.
Yeah, a bit of that.
Some sort of bizarre democracy that exists within a wider Chinese Communist Party scenario. I don't understand it.
The scores were locked, apparently. 12-all at half-time before Georgia Miller scored twice in the second half to seal the victory despite getting yellow-carded in the opening stanza. The men's tournament, Argentina won their first ever Hong Kong Sevens when they outmuscled France 12-7 in the final. The New Zealand men beat Spain 24-5 in the fifth place playoff.
Why humiliate
Killed
people?
me now.
Yeah, why humiliate people with the fifth place playoff as Ryan Fox, who's playing in the Texas Children's Houston Open, puts one on the dustbin lid. He started today tied for third place.
It's hard not to watch this. I'm not even sure why we're podcasting. We should just be commentating this.
Sorry, but so he had a sniff, but now he's fallen back to about tied for like 16th, which is actually technically like 7th, but there's so many people tied that it doesn't really matter. He cuts a very distinctive silhouette on the PGA Tour. Ryan Fox?
He does. I was about to say, though, I think he might have felt it down slightly.
When you look up and you see him, it's either him or Shane Lowry. And there's no.
So is that Minwoo Lee there leading?
Yeah, that is Minwoo. He's got a 2-stroke lead on Scotty Scheffler at the time of recording this. And I don't think it's over, but it's going to be very tough for Ryan Fox to win it from there.
Okay, well, speaking of...
Masters next week, by the way.
Oh, jeez, is it?
Put that on your radar. You've got a sports podcast to...
Yeah, I now actually have to write these
fellas,
things down. Okay, we'll be back here
radar.
in no doubt a week because G Lane won't be here to talk about it. Speaking of Texas, though, the Export Ultra Beer Garden Tour is back, of course, for 2025. And this time, we're going big. We're going to Texas. Being to win a 7-day trip to Austin, Texas with DB Export and the ACC Text Ultra to 32362 to enter. Thanks to Export Ultra, the beer for here.
I'm so excited for this trip. Texas and what it's already done for me, and my missus is a look, I don't think she'd mind me saying this, is a hillbilly, and she I've counted her fingers, it's fine. She just, our house is constantly filled with country music. She went to fucking Kojo on the weekend, Cody Johnson on Saturday night.
Yeah.
The imaging for this one of us dressed as cowboys has done me wonders.
Yeah,
over
really.
the last couple of, I've really been cashing in on that.
Have you taken the Get Up Home?
I haven't taken the Get Up Home, no, but I'm not far off printing a poster of it and putting it up on the wall just as a reminder. But yeah.
Well, Jeff, if you are listening, I can
guarantee you she's not.
I can understand why this does take your fancy, but also I think people might be surprised the way the photos have been taken. It was Camp Cowboys is kind of is the vibe that I had when I saw you guys in person. It doesn't really come across on the images, but
no,
a lot more glitter and sparkles involved with the live version of those outfits.
I think that's been photoshopped out. I think it was a little on the nose.
Sweet, they were out of Jimmy Wells's costume.
They were.
Okay, let's take a break and come back with a couple of yours pleases, I understand.
Yours is please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
All right, how does this work? Do I just say yours please and someone says something? Is that right? Okay, yours please.
How good is Moana Pasifika? Bit sad that they've been pushed out to Albany, home of the Pacific Nations. But that old Pellegrini, he's got a touch of the old Kenny Powers about him, I reckon. He's a skilled operator. Anyway, fuck the Crusaders. Love yous. We
were calling him Kenny Powers on the commentary the week before when they got obliterated by the Chiefs.
Okay.
So yes, he 100% he does. He's running a bit of a mudguts like Garden Bishop is as well, which I really appreciate in Super Rugby.
Mudguts?
Yeah.
That's a good phrase.
Someone carrying a spare tyre as a professional athlete is something I can always relate to.
I always looked to league for mudguts. There's a lot of good mudguts being operating in the NRL at the moment.
Latrell Mitchell.
Latrell, one of the great muffin tops.
Case in point. I think you want to carry a little bit as well, but you don't often see it in a fullback.
No.
But yes.
Was there a question in there from that yours please, or was it just more of a fuck Crusaders statement?
Crusaders,
yeah, okay. Well, should we move past that? I mean, all right, mate. We'll be back later in the season, promise. Okay, yours please.
Afternoon, fellas. Welcome to Meshi. very lukewarm welcome, of course, because no doubt we're going to rip into him for something in the upcoming few days. But yeah, you ain't losing that name. Don't think you got a fresh start with a new platform that you can able to just worm your way back into the so-called Finn persona you have. But yeah, welcome. Look forward to it. But shit, holy hell, that magic. Yeah, let's not bring that over. All right, love you boys. Love you.
Oh, thanks, contributor.
Pile on for you. Well, I mean, where did MASH come from? Is because we had hanger and banger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And
then I started referring to banger as bangers and mash.
Then you became MASH because it was bangers and mash.
Yeah.
Remember gravy?
I remember gravy.
Remember gravy, bro?
I remember gravy. I remember a lot of people that came into that B studio, but specifically gravy was one of the more memorable ones. She was great use in B studio there. We also, who else did we have after that? No one really of note. It was mainly just gravy, wasn't it? I think. But yeah, mash came from the fact that we used to call bangers and mash, and then I think Wells looked at me one day and said, "Mate, you look a little bit like mashed potato." And then I said, "Oh, great, thanks, brother." And then that one stuck. So I'll go by anything. I don't know if I'm pushing this Finn persona that contributor thinks that I might be.
If anything, your parents have pushed that Finn persona upon you.
That's right. It's not really. I'm neither here nor there on that. You can call me whatever you want, contributor. I don't mind. Okay, next one.
Oh, there you go. Well, next voicemail you send through, call them whatever you want. I implore you.
Yours, please.
G'day, fellas. Hey, just listening to Mashy's cherry popping episode. This is going to be good. We like Mashy. He brings a lot of motor games chat, a very knowledgeable chat. Manaia lacked that, and you could tell that G Lane was fizzing to get into it.
Yeah.
Young Mashy just brings in a bit of knowledge, a bit of drive to survive gossip.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, this is what we're about. Campaigning for a live F1 commentary for them.
Oh, you seem to be cut off there, contributor. But thanks for your message.
Just like motorsports, that one went on for a bit too long and got cut off, unfortunately. Yeah, well, let me know when you guys are doing a Formula One commentary and chop the highlights together of all of the cars being overtaken on the track, and I'll listen to all 43 seconds of it.
That episode, I mean, you know what this is like better than anyone, but last week I got invited through Manaia with 5 minutes heads up. You'll be making your debut on the podcast today, since you'll be coming over as of this week. And I came in and G Lane operating at about 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Really steams his way through a podcast, G Lane. I admire G Lane because he's always got that attitude of I've got to be somewhere else.
I got to get this out of the way.
Yeah. And it's like that in everything.
Right now there is is it a radiologist, whoever does a X-ray. There'll be one of them on the North Shore of Auckland getting that exact treatment.
Yeah.
Hey, can we get this fucking double pneumonia X-ray done, mate? I got to get somewhere.
And he doesn't have anywhere to be.
Nah.
And this is the thing about G Lane, is he makes it sound like he's got somewhere to be. He doesn't. There's nothing going on. There's nothing else that he could possibly be doing.
Got to go real fast.
Was there something else mentioned in that we need to cover off?
Motor games. Just
motor games.
Excited that there's more motor games. And look, I know that there's a massive portion of the audience of this podcast that wants to hear about motor games, and that was something that I could not service. So yes, this is a good thing for the health of the podcast. Just don't do it around me.
I think I'm already getting more credit than I deserve, though. I think as that contributor mentioned, it is just a gossip kind of forum that I am running when it comes to motorsport.
Yeah, you watch Drive to Survive.
That's right. And I follow a couple of Instagram pages, and I will reiterate that like it's my own information. Next one, yours, please.
I'd like to welcome Finn Caddie to the podcast. It's good to have someone on board instead of G Lane just rustling up whoever walks past the studio on the day. But I want to make it clear from the outset, you're not our real dad. Manaia's our real dad, G Lane's our real mum, and as far as we're concerned, this is only temporary till Manaia comes back. Hooroo.
No, that's fair.
So that I would say, I'm not going to be around all the time, all right? And Mash is, and we need to make this blended family work, all right?
Yeah.
He's given up a lot to be with your mum, okay? And he loves her.
Well, hang on. If G Lane's the mum, then I don't know if I want that reputation out there. But for the sake of this metaphor, just keep going, yep.
And he'll be there to pick you up from school, and he'll be there to drop you off when it's, my day of custody for the weekend. And you'll bloody well get along with them, all right? At least if not just to save face, at least not in public.
So what is my relationship with the listener then? I'm happy to kind of workshop.
Like, wasn't it stepdad?
Stepdad, I'm fine with.
Stepdad, what are you doing?
That feels like that. Okay, next one, yours, please.
Regarding a All Blacks test on Anzac Day,
Oh, Jesus.
do you think it's really a bit of a vibe of, well, we didn't think of it, so the answer's no?
So I presume we were talking about that on the podcast last week.
Can I just say, again, you'll know this better than anyone, but I do. It's easy to forget that this is a sports podcast,
Ostensibly.
And when someone raises a sporting issue, it catches me off guard.
Yeah.
Because I get into this kind of fly-by-night nature of just chatting, shooting the shit, being referred to as some listener's stepdad, which I like, and then someone asks an earnest All Blacks test on Anzac Day question, and now we have to sit here and answer it. I don't know.
I think you're actually step bro. I think that's where.
Okay, I'll take step bro.
Yeah, and the listener's stuck in the washing machine again.
So what were they talking about last week? Something about an All Blacks test on Anzac Day. Is that right, Joe Jerry?
Yeah, there was a proposed All Blacks Wallabies test on Anzac Day, but New Zealand Rugby Union said, nah, too hard to organise.
Fucking classic. The listener's exactly right. We didn't come up with it. I think that particularly for Rugby Union, the administration is just a big dick swinging contest.
Shit, yeah.
And it's like, it's not about what's best in the best interest of the game. It's about who's right or who can win. It's like every decision at a board level. I don't even know what the fuck that means. But
just sounded good.
Mate, at a board level, every decision that gets made is about how do I win this. And it's not about does anyone give a shit, is anyone going to watch this? It's about how do I win. And if it's Australia coming out, the call is so right. New Zealand Rugby's like, we didn't come up with it, so we're not going to do it.
Well, if it doesn't look good to the higher ups, then why are we doing it?
Well,
and I'm thinking of the person at NZ Rugby who's gone, to their boss. They've asked them, what are you working on this week? And they've gone, a couple of things here. Aussie, they want to do a bit of an Anzac Rugby test. I can't be,
it just won't work, mate.
It's just not going to work.
Just won't
Let's
work.
not worry about it. And the boss is going, hang on, that might be something. No, trust me, it's not going to work. Let's just move on. It'd work. It'd be great. Everyone would go.
Yeah.
It'd be the first.
Yeah.
It'd be the first event to sell out here in NZ in quite some time.
Yeah.
But no.
But the question's never asked, like, would people want to watch that? That's never the question. It's like, wow.
What happened to the South versus North rugby fixture that was happening for a couple of years there? Was it pre-COVID?
I think they did it once.
Was it just 1 year that they did that?
Yeah.
Okay, so once post-COVID, and then
again
they tied a ribbon on that, did they?
Again, everyone would watch that.
Yeah.
There's 3 South Islanders sitting in this room. We would fucking love that. It's not even an artificial rivalry. It's a genuine rivalry that would mean something.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I think that should be the, they've been trying to figure out how to do some sort of like all-star game in NRL for a while, and it works. There's nothing like that in Super Rugby. I reckon that would work. Imagine halfway through the Super Rugby season, you stop down and you have a North versus South game.
Yeah, 4-week break.
Basically state of origin, but North versus South. I'd watch the fuck out of that.
Yeah, no, I would watch the fuck out of that. That's the problem with that, though, is too many people would watch that. I think you've got issues now with sport in NZ where it's almost a negative if people are going to watch it, because what happens to the generic product? All of a sudden, Super Rugby is not exciting if you've got a North versus South, monster coming up every 3 months.
That's right. There'll be so many people going to that game that, will there be a traffic plan in place? How are we going to park? Will there be enough security on board?
These are the things you've got to worry about, Manaia.
Man. Too many people would go to it. Too many people would enjoy it. Fucking shut it down.
Yeah, park on Helen Clark's house.
Should we shut this podcast down?
Yeah, shall we?
One more.
Apparently one more. Yours, please.
Oh, g'day, fellas. Jake here from Ealing Station, mid-Canterbury.
G'day, Jakey.
Can't believe you replaced that inbred Manaia from South Canterbury with that bag of potatoes from North Canterbury. Mash. You're not getting called Finn. Anyway, Southern, Hines, beat Kaiapoi in the pre-season Cool Trans Cup annual fixture this year. Come away with $500 on the bar. That went within 30 seconds of the vans leaving. So, yeah, anyway, fuck North and South Canterbury. Up the hammers.
Thanks, contributor.
Welcome, Nash. Welcome.
Who was the bro's name there?
That's Jake from Ealing Station.
I was going to say, it sounds like you might know who Jakey is.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, he was the originator of Fuck South Canterbury, because South Canterbury were undefeated, as I would like to remind Jake, for about 4 years, almost 5 years in
I remember it well, yeah.
the Heartland Championship. And I was talking so much about it on here that everyone started saying Fuck South Canterbury. That's where that came from. And now that you've started, it's fuck North Canterbury. So
Okay, fair enough.
New sign off.
Okay, let's call that a day. Thank you very much for
Fuck
listening
North
to the Agenda
Canterbury.
Podcast for another day. Thank you, Manaia. Thank you, Joey, running the operator over there. Anything else we need to cover off, or is that how that works?
No.
Okay, all right, fuck yous.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.